Hello, it's that time of the year again, the season where we are supposed to be filled with holiday cheer. But let's be real, it doesn't always work out that way. Many of us have really complicated feelings this time of the year, and that's especially true for us polyamorous folks. So today, I want to reach out directly to my fellow polyamorous folks and talk about what I affectionately refer to as the winter Poly days. Get it? I'm Dr. Batty, licensed psychologist and professor. Let's get into it. Being polyamorous can bring more opportunities for joy, connection, and celebration, but it can also bring some unique challenges during the holidays. So, I want to talk about 7 common struggles that many of us face during the holidays. Things like competing demands, disconnection, exclusion, and invisibility. Number 1, infinite meanings for the holidays. The way that we look at holidays are as unique as snowflakes. So, these meanings can be pleasant, they can be unpleasant, or both, a combination in between. They can have multiple conflicting emotions. For example, some of the feelings that we might have around the holidays are comfort. We could feel overwhelmed, nostalgic, invisible. We could have stuff around family, whether that's difficult or connecting. We might have trauma around the holidays. We might have experienced loss around the holidays. It might be one of the first holidays without a particular loved one by our side. And it can also mean a time of rest. And that's just a few of the ways that we can assign meaning to the holidays. But there's really an infinite amount of attachments and meanings that we could give to the holidays. Just remember that there's no right way to feel this season. Your meaning is your truth. Number 2, the reason for the season. Our reactions that I discussed in number 1 that we have during the holidays reveal stuff about ourselves. Specifically, they reveal our needs, they reveal our wants, and they reveal our tender spots. Needs are non negotiable. They are what keeps us healthy and grounded. Wants are desires, sort of bonuses that add sweetness to our lives, but we don't have to have them. Tender spots are places where old stress or hurt gets stirred up. Noticing these needs, wants, and tender spots is not selfish. It's self honoring. Awareness helps us show up with more ease and care. Number 3, communication is key. Try sharing your needs, wants, and tender spots using I statements rather than you statements like, you never do this, you don't, you always do this, you. Instead, try to focus on I statements because this helps us to share our truths without sounding accusatory. And absolutely sharing this stuff is very vulnerable. It's an act of courage. But it is a very vulnerable thing, especially in polyamory when we are sharing truths that we don't really like about ourselves. Maybe they feel ugly to us. So sharing and yes, sharing this stuff can be really, really vulnerable, especially in polyamory when we are, sharing these things about ourselves that feel ugly, they feel really raw. It's difficult to share. But something to remember is that whatever the outcome of you sharing, because often we focus so much on the outcome, right? Like, how is this person going to take it? So rather than just focusing on the outcome, remember that naming your truth is an act of courage. It is absolutely a difficult thing to do, and it takes a lot of courage to share our truths with someone. But what it does pave the way for is that when we have that clear, compassionate communication with each other, that makes room for everyone's humanity. Number 4, couple privilege. Couple privilege is the refers to the built-in advantages that couples get when they have been together a long time, or when they live together, or when they are legally recognized, they're legally married. They automatically sort of get this status in our society. And couple privilege refers to that status that that particular couples gets. And during the holidays, this can be very pronounced because we have things like plus one events, we have family events, biological family events, in which sometimes there's an automatic invite for one partner that's part of this established couple and not necessarily an invitation for other partners that someone might have. So, couple privilege really hits us harder during the holidays. And it can tell us like who gets it basically determines who gets prioritized, who gets included and excluded, who gets acknowledged and who gets seen. And just like with any other privilege, it could feel uncomfortable if we have that to acknowledge it, because we are having some advantages that other people, other relationships don't get. But try not to get stuck in that shame, because recognizing privilege is not about shame. It's about awareness. And awareness really allows us to start to care for one another in a very intentional way. Number 5, exclusion. And this is particularly true if you're on the receiving end of couple privilege. So if you are dating someone in an established couple, or you're dating a couple, this exclusion can be really pronounced. And that can make us feel left out or less important. And if that's you this season, just know that your feelings are valid and your pain does deserve compassion. And also know that you are worthy of being seen in all your complexity. Number 6, outness. Many of us don't have the safety or privilege to be out about our polyamory, like to family, especially a biological family, to some friends, to coworkers, and to our community at large. A lot of us don't really have that safety to do so, or privilege. And that can make us feel sad. It can make us feel frustrated and even invisible. Or at least a big part of us, if we consider polyamory a big part of us, can feel invisible. But remember that you do not have to be out in order to be authentic. So just because something is true to you and certain people in your life don't know, that does not mean that you're not living your life authentically. And ultimately, it's all about finding the people who can celebrate all of who you are. They are out there. Number 7, it's never enough. Holiday capitalism tells us that we're not enough no matter how much time, energy, or love that we give. And in polyamory, these pressures can really multiply. But you are worthy just as you are. And you deserve slowness, grounding, and the joy of reconnecting with yourself. And finally, number 8, building community. The holidays can be a time of get togethers, but they can also bring a lot of loneliness. So that's if you're feeling that, you are not alone. But just remember that just because your community doesn't look the way that maybe other people's community looks, community can come in lots of different forms. So, for example, having chosen family that we actually choose to be on our lives, creating rituals around the holidays, and building our own support networks, even tiny ones, can really transform this season. You get to build community that feels like home. If you want some more tools, prompts, and grounding practices for navigating the winter poly days, visit polytherapist.com, enter your email, and your free winter poly days guide will be delivered straight to your inbox. Let's make this season feel more grounded, authentic, and connected. Happy poly days.